I'd like to bring this meeting to order, the Village of Villa Park Board of Trustees meeting, February 28th, 2022. Clerk Kornecki, please call the roll.
Trustee Salela.
Here.
Trustee Corkery.
Here.
Trustee Kosar.
Here.
Trustee Kumar.
Here.
Trustee Murphy.
Here.
Trustee Patrick.
Here.
President Kazan.
Here. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and please remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together this evening. May we have meaningful discussions that will help us to assist our village in these trying times. Help us to make the decisions that will affect the staff, directors, and residents of Villa Park. Guide us through the challenges we face, and may we approach each other with respect and kindness as one group. In your name, amen. Amen. Okay, next item is public comments on agenda items. Clerk Kornecki, anyone signed up?
Yes, I have Karine Alfano, I believe, for item 7C, the truck traffic.
Hello, my name is Karine Alfano. I live on South Monterey Avenue, and I did want to comment on the agenda item 7C. I live on Monterey north of Wildwood, and the truck traffic has been really bad from early spring on my block until about late fall, since the land swap. And I was disappointed that there seems that there was no traffic study done before that land swap, but I am very, very grateful for the attention that this item has received. We need the relief on that block because there are families with young children, and the trucks are big and they drive fast and it takes time for them to slow down. I was just curious about how the no truck traffic north of Wildwood would be enforced, especially from St. Charles, as there's currently not a no truck sign. And there is a no truck sign going north, but that doesn't seem to be enforced and it's not really adhered to either. Those are my only questions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I have no one else.
That's it?
No.
Okay, anyone else like to speak? Okay, we did get one email from resident Justin Schlensky, and I'll read that into the record. Mr. President and trustees, I appreciate your consideration on various text amendments to our current zoning ordinance. While I am unable to make tonight's meeting due to work conflicts, I hope that you will consider my concerns regarding agenda item 7D. To begin, I applaud each and every one of you for the time that you've already taken in reviewing the proposed text amendments. Such is an extremely time-consuming endeavor, which I know very well, as these items have come before planning and zoning several times now. My concern tonight is specifically regarding the proposal to strike section 6-11-2G7. Upon watching the YouTube recording of the February 14th meeting, there seem to be several concerns raised on this exact section, and it is my belief that such concerns and considerations warrant further discussion prior to a vote. To begin, I take issue with striking entire provision focused upon entertainment, when both our village municipal code and the zoning code do not contain a definition of such. Our municipal code provides specific definitions of the terms nuisance, in addition to noxious weeds, public parking area, open air meeting, parade, etc. I see no reason why this administration cannot put their heads together for the collective good and provide our residents and business owners with clarity as to how our village defines entertainment. A clear definition provides substantial benefits for enforcement purposes, which, given this board's previous comments on the need for enforcement of parking regulations across the village, I hope this board will be equally concerned with proper enforcement of noise complaints stemming from outdoor entertainment as well. If I may paraphrase Chief Rivas's comments at the February 14th meeting on enforcement of complaints of entertainment, Chief Rivas indicated our officers are tasked with the enforcement of nuisance and noise complaints, and that without a definition of entertainment, complaints are addressed on a subjective basis, the subjectivity of which is based upon the nature of the complaint and the discretion of the officer, him or herself, when responding to said complaint. By providing a definition of the term entertainment, such would mitigate the subjectivity itself, which I hope that this board would consider as a positive improvement. I believe that Trustee Kumar previously addressed that the entertainment aspects may be better suited under the village's nuisance ordinance, Chapter 15. This is likely a very sound, pun intended, place to start in reworking our village code to account for entertainment regulation, and I appreciate Trustee Kumar's indication of such. I find it odd that Trustee Kozar in approximately August 2021 went on the record by stating that the village board should not rush into decisions, and instead that as an administration, you should take your time to make sure that you get it right the first time. But as of February 14th, he contradicts himself by indicating he now wants to employ a try it and see attitude to how we treat entertainment, and in his view, without any applicable restrictions, and only if there are complaints later should the board reevaluate. This whimsical approach directly speaks against making sure you get it right the first time, and I'd appreciate the board's consideration in taking time to flesh out not only the definition of the term entertainment, but also applicable regulations and restrictions to inform and educate our resident and business owners. I believe it was Trustee Patrick who in mid to late 2021 indicated that the board should trust and support our village commission's recommendations. Planning and zoning is taking a substantial amount of time in vetting this particular issue, and I ask for your continued trust and support of all of our commissions. With that, I ask for your consideration to remove striking G7 from the proposed ordinance and that you discuss this particular item further. Okay, thank you. Okay, and with that, we go to item 4, amendments to the agenda. Do we have any amendments? Okay, seeing none, go to item 5A, a presentation by the Environmental Concerns Commission. And we have Robert Wagner here to give a little presentation.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thanks to you, President Cazone, and thanks to staff and the board for allowing this time. I know that you've had some weighty issues and some lengthy meetings in the past, so I appreciate the time. The commission appreciates the time for this presentation. So, just a really brief description about the Environmental Concerns Commission. This is grabbed directly from the village's website. It paraphrases the ordinance that creates the commission. We advise the president and board of trustees on matters relating to the preservation, protection, and improvement of the environment, including the quality of land, air, and water. And one of the provisions in the ordinance that creates this is the ability to have subcommittees, and we did fairly recently create a subcommittee. There are 7 members on our commission. We meet the 4th Thursday of the month, with the exception of November, when we meet the 3rd Thursday of the month, and we do not meet in December. And proud to say that during 2021, we held all our meetings. We did not have to refrain from having a meeting from not having a quorum. So this is the members of our commission. We're a fully staffed commission. I'm the chair. Ellen Jaconis serves as our secretary. Justin Schlensky, our former chair, is a commissioner. Sandy Hill, Joseph Amore, Marianne Greco, Margaret Schieffer, and our liaison is Trustee Corkery, and he's been a very steadfast liaison, has attended our meetings regularly and attends commission activities. So also there is the Bicycle, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee, and that was created by the Environmental Concerns Commission. It provides recommendations regarding the implementation of the Bicycle and Pedestrian Master Plan and provides recommendations regarding public transit and rail crossing safety. And this subcommittee was created after consultation with former President Bulthus and former village manager Richard Keener. Here's a picture of an activity we had during 2021. We visited the LRS facilities in Maywood and in Oak Forest, I believe. A very informative tour that we took. Here's some of the activities, and I should mention that this is not inclusive, all-inclusive, because I got emails from commissioners saying you forgot this, you forgot that. But here's just some major things that the commission has done in 2021. We presented the 2020 Annual Green Champion Award to Ken Jacobson. As I mentioned before, we toured the LRS Maywood and Heartland facility. And Commissioner Draconis wrote a very good article that was published in the Villa Park Review that helped to dispel some misinformation that village residents had about the village's waste hauling and recycling program. We became members of the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus Environment Committee. They meet monthly, virtually, for the time being. Some very valuable information. We've, of course, formed the Bicycle, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee. That was in late 2019. We participated in the Arbor Day planning and funded a tree through the commission budget. We advocated, we got wind of a grant opportunity, and we advocated for the submission of a successful Trees Forever grant. Thanks to Director Guerra, the staff ran with it, and they submitted the grant application. We were successful, and through some negotiations, we got 40 more mature trees. We would have liked to help with the planting, but that's beyond our expertise. So Director Guerra found a way for us to participate by delivering gator bags to the recipients of the trees in the parkways. So we delivered them, gave a little handout to the residents how to water the tree. Of course, we partnered with the Community Focus on Uniting Neighbors Commission on the 2021 Spring Sweep. They've asked us to be the lead commission for the 2022 Spring Sweep. We staffed a table at the National Night Out in August of 2021, promoting the Simple Recycling Program and the village's curbside recycling program. We held a successful pumpkin smash with a record collection of 6,240 pounds. We participated in the 2021 Joyful Traditions celebration by sponsoring a tree with a recycling theme. Through the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, we found out about a program through ComEd where we were able to obtain 70 energy kits for low-income households. And we partnered with the library. We distributed 70 of those to village residents through the library. We funded training and certification of an LCI, a league cycling instructor. And that's relevant because I'll mention later on the application we submitted for a bike-friendly community. Having an LCI in your community is one of the criterias for being recognized as a bike-friendly community. And then we funded and distributed 100 bike taillights and headlights that were distributed at the District 45 bike ride in August. So those are major things. We also we maintain our garden. That was in June. The pollinator garden along the Great Western Trail. There's some other things that we did as well. This is a picture from the District 45 bike ride, which we were helped plan. They had over 200 participants, great success, and we're hoping to do the same this year. And just a few things. This is about the Bike, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee. They advocated for a successful submission of a bike-friendly community application, which staff submitted, and we're going to take on that responsibility this year. We advocated for a successful submission of the walk-friendly community application, and it's our understanding that we should get some response in March. Partnered with District 45 on the successful D45 bike ride in August of 2021, over 200 participants. We did a ride-along on PACE bus route 313 with the PACE Chief Communications Officer and PACE Director Tom Marcucci, July 6, 2021. After consulting with the manager, we advocated for possible changes to the route that might go past our, the development north of the train station. So we put that seed in their brain. We also managed the bike valet for the 2021 Brewfest. Some of the things that we're going to be doing in 2022, and these are above and beyond what we normally do: Spring Sweep, Green Champion, pumpkin smash, et cetera. Last year, the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, along with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and other groups, and they also received funding from the European Union, put together a groundbreaking regional climate action plan. And we are one of 5 regions in the country that has this. I've passed this along to staff, and thanks to Director Guerra, he's looking at ways that maybe we can possibly implement that climate action plan. There are specific steps in that. But what I would ask the board is, and there is no obligation here, would be to, in the future, to pass a resolution in support of the Regional Climate Action Plan. We're investigating making a possible recommendation to change our community electrical aggregation program. The village passed community electrical aggregation back in April of 2013. And 2 meetings ago, we had Adam Hoover from NIMEC, that's the Northern Illinois Municipal Electrical Collaborative. He told us about a program, well, this is actually something that residents brought to us, to go with what's called a ComEd rate match program, where you get 100% renewable energy, but you don't pay any more than ComEd's rate. So we're still investigating that. There are 65 communities in Northern Illinois that have this program. So we're doing our due diligence to make a presentation or a recommendation to the village board in the future. We are going to tour the Kuwasakoski Electronics Recycling Facility in Plainfield. And Kuwasakoski is a Finnish company, and that's where we take our electronics to be recycled. So we thought it would be beneficial for the commission to learn how that's done. Just in general, we want to encourage more sustainable landscaping and encourage residents to plant pollinator gardens and monarch way stations. Also, we want to work on public education, more public education on recycling. We'd like to highlight the simple recycling program so that more residents use that. And here's a picture from our 2021 Pumpkin Smash, very successful event. So I want to thank the staff and board for making time for us. I also would like to make a plug for our Green Champion Award. The deadline for submission for that is March 17th. You can get you can submit it electronically. If you go to the Commission's webpage, and you can, if you know someone who you think is deserving, we'd encourage you to submit to submit a nomination. And we'd like to just invite members of the public to attend our meeting. 2 meetings ago, we had 4 members of the public, so there's definitely an interest to what the commission does. And I thank you for the time, and if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Anybody have any questions for Bob? Okay. Thank you, Bob. You guys do a great job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, we will go to the consent agenda. Item 6A, minutes from the February 14th, 2022 public hearing in the village board meeting and special meeting held on February 21st, 2022. And 6B, bill listings for the weeks of February 14th, 2022 and February 21st, 2022 in the total amount of $974,761.17. And we have a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Corkery, we have a second? Trustee Kumar? Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
President Kazan?
Yes. Okay, we are having a first reading, item 7A of ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending section 14207, no parking zones of the Village of Villa Park Municipal Code. Manager Guerrero.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The village has received several complaints and concerns regarding parked vehicles on the 700 block of North Michigan Avenue between Ridge Road and Stone Road. Many of these vehicles are illegally parked overnight, unlicensed, damaged, or left abandoned. The business owners further advise that trucks making local deliveries are having a very difficult time turning and entering into their business complex due to the parked vehicles on Michigan between Ridge and Stone. The Traffic and Safety Committee has reviewed and discussed this location for several months to provide a recommendation to the board. On February 1st, 2022, the Traffic and Safety Committee recommended an ordinance be considered by the village board to restrict parking on North Michigan Avenue on the east side from Ridge Road to Stone.
Okay, thank you. Okay, seeing as this is a first reading, this will be discussion only unless anyone wants to make a motion to waive the second reading. Trustee Murphy.
I just have a comment. I am not adverse to making that no parking. I took a ride down there. It seems to be a relatively short street. There were 3 cars parked there when I went down there, none of which appeared to be abandoned. There did appear to be some other significant issues going on down there a little bit further north with a lot of different automotive businesses that have things happening in a lot of vehicles. And the road could certainly use some repaving. So this might be a really good start for us. I would be in favor of this. And if anyone's willing to, I'd be more than happy to make a motion to pass this in one reading.
Okay. Trustee Kumar.
After what Christine just said, I also have, I wouldn't like to pass it in one reading just because I'd like anybody who hasn't had a chance to weigh in. As she said, there were cars there, and many of them don't seem abandoned. Just to give them a chance, that's why I am in support of P&Z's suggestion. But in case there is someone who wants to speak yet on this, I'd like to have a second reading.
Okay, thank you. Hey, anyone else? Okay, so we will put this on the March 14th meeting for the final reading on that.
I have one more.
Okay?
So you can still park on the west side, just not the east side of the street, is that it? Or you can't park on that street at all?
I can turn it over. I believe both sides will be restricted. Is that correct, Chief?
Well, just for this particular ordinance, and thank you, it's just for the east side of the street in front of 701 North Michigan.
I thought the west side's no parking already.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, we will go to item 7B, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, increasing the number of Class D liquor licenses to sell alcohol liquor in original packages not to be consumed on the premises. Andrew Guerrero.
Yes, and I think, I just noticed something, but the current business, Uncle Tobacco Convenience Store, located at 140 West North Avenue, is being sold to Nia Vakumur, I would just say Mr. or Mrs. Patel. Mr. and Mrs. Patel are requesting a Class B liquor license. I just noticed we missed the agenda item. I apologize for that. To sell alcohol liquor in original packages for consumption off premises. This will replace the current Class D liquor license for Uncle Tobacco Convenience Store and will not increase the net amount of liquor licenses for the village. And just for clarification, when we were reviewing this, the Class D did not seem to fit the current use of that facility, and a Class B license would be more appropriate classification for this liquor license.
Okay. Thanks. So, as Manager said, the total number of licenses are not going to change. It's changing from one class to another with the new owner coming in, because however they got the original one it really doesn't fit what they do there. So it's just the number of licenses will stay the same. It's just the type of license will change. Okay. Trustee Murphy.
Yes, I have a question for Chief Rivas. Are you aware of any instances of trouble or complaints filed from that location?
I am not aware of any issues in that
Good
location.
answer. Perfect. Thank you.
Trustee Corcoran.
I'd like to make a motion to waive the second reading on this one.
Okay, we have a motion to waive the second reading. We have a second?
I will second
Trustee
that.
Kumar? I will have to ask Trustee Kozar, you mind recusing yourself from this vote?
Of course.
Okay, Clerk Kornecki?
Trustee Salella,
Yes.
Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Okay, so we're going to waive the second reading. Can we have a vote on the ordinance itself? Yeah. Oh, Trustee Corkery.
Never mind.
Oh, wait, actually, we'll need a motion for the second.
I'll do that.
Okay, Trustee Corkery. We have a second? Trustee Murphy?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any additional discussion? Okay. Clerk Kornecki, please.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Salella,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, item 7C, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending Article 1 of Chapter 14, Motor Vehicles and Traffic of the Village of Villa Park Municipal Code. Andrew Guerra.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The Village of Villa Park Traffic and Safety Commission received numerous concerns from residents in the vicinity of Wildwood Avenue and Monterey Avenue regarding the increased volume of truck traffic on the residential streets in that neighborhood. After reviewing the situation for several months, the Traffic and Safety Commission concluded that the best option would be to establish a designated local truck route as to control which residential streets in the area may be used for truck deliveries and which may not. The Traffic and Safety Commission has voted to recommend an ordinance amending Article 1 of Chapter 14, Motor Vehicles and Traffic of the Village of Villa Park Municipal Code, which, if adopted, would designate 4 village streets as local truck routes.
Thank you. Okay, any discussion, questions, comments on this? Trustee Corkery.
I would like to know a little more about enforcement for this one.
So then,
Yeah, go ahead.
so the enforcement would be by designating these as truck routes, this would be the only roads that would be allowed for trucks to utilize. Now, if they're going to any deliveries off of this route, they would have to use the shortest possible route possible and then return to the truck route. Therefore, if we designate these roads, any trucks in that area that go off the route and utilize other streets could be subject to ticketing and enforcement by the police. And I can turn it over to Police Chief Rivas that can maybe explain the enforcement aspect.
Right. And to address the citizens' comment on that roadway, especially on Monterey, where obviously we do not want any trucks, anything that you see, if you can get a description of the truck as well as a plate, and we can always cite that truck after the fact. And obviously you have a circuitous route that goes around, that goes onto Wildwood from Villa, and any complaint we would receive that's anywhere not in any of the streets that's named in there, we would go ahead and take enforcement action.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes, I just have a couple comments. I would be in favor of whatever everyone agrees is the safest and best alternative for the traffic as well as our residents. I did see a disparity between the memo and the ordinance. One of them is showing a truck route going from Wildwood to St. Charles on Villa. The other one is showing it going all the way from Central to St. Charles on Villa. So I'm not exactly sure which alternative we were in favor of. I just wanted to point out that disparity. Also express a concern about what we think the impact will be with making a truck route on Villa with the proposed new developments under discussion.
You want to address it at all, or?
Well, with the new development, obviously, we are looking at having that development, if they proceed, have a traffic study being performed. Obviously, with the truck traffic that is concerned, we do have construction. Obviously, in this area, it's very limited in the amount of roadways and access to the area. So I believe that the consensus of the Traffic and Safety Commission is really no good answer. It's just kind of what would make the best sense. And I know right now, Wildwood and Villa, especially Villa, is built a little bit more in tune to handle truck traffic in terms of the pavement thickness. And Wildwood's a little bit newer of a roadway. I believe those were considerations into that. Obviously, with the development coming in, that might need to be reviewed as that proceeds.
Go ahead. Trustee
Just
Murphy.
one other comment, and that's, it appeared to me, over there looking at that, is that what that's going to do, because it also had Wildwood going all the way from the dead-end route where AK Mulch is, all the way to Villa. So then those trucks that were previously turning on the two side streets to get onto St. Charles are now going in front of all of those houses on Wildwood, so, I'm not exactly sure, what perspective to take on it. It kind of shifts everything over, but that will be a new nuance to what's happening in that area. Thank you.
Trustee Kumar.
Yeah, that area is pretty congested as it is, and is there, I do have a fear there's ducks that walk there all the time, and there's all sorts of things that happens right there on Wildwood. And what percentage, I'm just asking, what percentage of truck traffic has been going on the side roads? Do we have any numbers on that?
On Monterey, you mean?
Yeah, on Monterey and
I don't know,
Oakland.
do we have any numbers on that?
We would have to review I think we believe, we took like an unofficial traffic study with some of our counters, so we'd have to review those traffic counts, and we can get that answer for you if we have that information.
Yeah, because I think it would tell us what percentage is now going to shift to our Wildwood, and if we need to think of another plan, because there is a lot of traffic and going down that one road. And the paving, you talked about the paving, Director Guerra. So the paving on Wildwood, is it actually equipped for all this truck traffic in the long run? I know Villa is the bigger road.
Yeah, I believe it is. It was not designated. It was not built to be a truck route from the get-go. It was built to newer standards. I think when Traffic and Safety reviewed this, Monterey is obviously aged. It needs to be improved. And so the thought is with the newer standards that Public Works has put in over the years, it has a better substantial new base, new pavement, a little bit more of a pavement structure that can handle the truck traffic a little bit better than the age infrastructure on Monterey. And I probably should point out too, is we unofficially had asked AK Mulch to distribute this truck route last year, to try to encourage their trucks to utilize this route. And I know, I think Deputy Director Salerno, I spoke to AK Mulch several times. They did try to encourage their drivers to utilize this route last year as a way to kind of facilitate this change in advance, if that was going to be a possibility. So I probably should mention that as well. But we'll look at going back to the first one, we'll look at percentages, but the pavement's in newer and better condition.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes, just one other comment, and that's to throw into the mix. AK Mulch was on Villa, so the truck traffic was previously on Villa, so for whatever that's worth, if it goes back in that direction, at least the trucks and the road were somewhat acclimated to having the trucks going that route from Wildwood to St. Charles.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay. One comment I would like to make, though, as far as AK Mulch, I know they have been really trying to work with the neighbors, and if you see a truck that's speeding or dropping stuff on the road, if you talk to them directly, they have been great. Yeah, they're really trying to be good neighbors over there. Yeah, right, sure. Okay, thank you. Okay, item 7D, an ordinance amending various provisions of the zoning ordinance of the Village of Villa Park regarding outdoor seating and outdoor storage regulations. Andrew Guerra.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Village of Villa Park petitioned the Planning and Zoning Commission of the Village of Villa Park, or otherwise known as the PZC, to consider text amendments to the village's zoning ordinance contained in Appendix C of the Village Code in order to further define and regulate outdoor seating and outdoor storage. The petition included 12 proposed text amendments, and after holding a proper public hearing, the P&Z presented its recommendations to the village board. They recommended that the village board approve certain proposed text amendments and disapprove other proposed text amendments. On February 14th, 2022, the village board evaluated the details of the recommendations and established a consensus on each of the 12 proposed text amendments. Ultimately, the village board, via majority consensus, agreed to move forward with the proposed itemized text amendments 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, and 12 that was on the memo and direct the ordinance to be drafted in accordance with the board consensus.
Thank you. Okay, again, this is the first reading unless anyone wants to waive the second reading. Trustee Murphy.
Yes, I'm not in support of waiving the second reading, and I would just like to make one comment. I am in support of Justin Schlensky's comment. I will be voting no on this as long as G7, the no entertainment line, has been stricken. I would very much like to see that put back in as it originally was. All the rest of the line items are perfect and good to go. I hate to hold everything up for that one line item. So I would like to see the no entertainment put back in, see this passed with the rest of the items as documented on the agenda today, and then a date put on the calendar to revisit the definition of entertainment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Kozar.
I would like to make a motion to waive the second reading.
Okay, we have a motion to waive second reading. We have a second on that. Trustee Kumar? Okay, can we have a vote on waiving the second reading?
Okay, trustee Silella,
Yes.
trustee Corkery,
No.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Murphy,
No.
trustee Corkery. Did I ever say Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
No. No.
That was a no? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Did you
No.
say no? Okay, thank you. Okay, trustee, let's see who have I got here. Kozar,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes, I vote to waive that. Okay, any more, oh, I'm sorry.
Can I have a moment to evaluate the code? There may be a
Sure.
supermajority vote that's required to waive,
Oh, is, okay.
so, would you give me a minute?
Can trustee Kozar vote on it?
Yeah. I don't have Apple Music.
Yeah. It's just not that.
A majority is what's required. and I
A simple
believe that's what
majority?
We have, yes.
Okay. Okay, so do we have any more discussion on that? Okay,
Are we're waiving it or we're
all right,
discussing it?
we've waived the second, so then now we'll have a motion to pass the ordinance. Trustee Kumar.
I would like, a definition, a clarity of definition of outdoor entertainment put into this ordinance somewhere, before, I mean, at least, somewhere in our code, so.
I
I'd
have,
like
I
to-
did talk to people on the P and Z, and that is something that will be brought up, I think, in the future. Since we're taking that out of the zoning, this
Yeah, I think
ordinance, we don't,
it should go elsewhere. I said that in the last meeting.
I'm sorry?
I think that definition should go elsewhere. I already said
Correct.
that in the last meeting.
Correct, yeah, wherever it goes, they are gonna look into that. In
I
the
would like
future.
it
don't-
done sooner than later,
Yeah.
given the concerns that might come up.
Sure, okay. Okay, do we have a motion for the ordinance?
I'll make
Trustee
that
Corkery. Do we have a second? Trustee Kozar? Okay, any other discussion? Okay, Clerk Kornecki.
Okay, trustee Murphy,
No.
trustee Kumar,
Yes.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Silella,
Yes.
trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Corkery,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes, so we will address that at a later date on the entertainment. Hopefully we'll, in a short time. Okay, we'll go to item 9A, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving an engineering services agreement with Christopher B. Burke Engineering Limited of Rosemont, Illinois, for Phase 2 design engineering of the Michigan and Vermont Improvement Project in an amount not to exceed $54,975. Andrew Guerra.
Here you go. The Michigan and Vermont Improvement Project is proposed in the Village of Villa Park's Capital Improvement Plan, otherwise known as the CIP. The project's objective is to improve the condition of the roadway and the water system capacity and reliability through select street improvements and replacement of the existing water main. The project's engineering design budget is budgeted in the CY 2022, and staff would like to proceed with the design efforts. Staff recommended approval of an engineering service agreement with Christopher B. Burke Engineering Ltd. of Rosemont, Illinois for the Phase 2 design engineering of Michigan and Vermont Improvement Project in the amount not to exceed $54,975. Funding for this agreement will be from the referendum portion improvement fund 60-502-03-299 and the water supply fund of 82-502-02-401. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the ordinance?
Resolution.
Resolution, sorry. Thank you. Motion for the resolution. Trustee Patrick.
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, have a second? Second. Trustee Sewella. Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornicki, please.
Okay, Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Salela,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, item 9B, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a separation agreement and general release. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Patrick.
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Kumar.
I will second that motion.
Okay, any questions or comments on the resolution? Trustee Murphy.
Yes, I have a question for Assistant Manager and Director Guerrera. Just confirmation, if you would please, that this in fact is the copy of the separation agreement that was provided by the attorney secured to review it, and it is a recommendation of that attorney that the board approve this separation agreement.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Trustee Kozar.
So we worked hard to get a independent attorney to review the contract and the separation agreement. And I'm glad that, although it took a little bit of time, we did do that. I think it was beneficial. It was definitely a cost savings, substantial cost savings as a result of getting independent counsel. So I applaud those on our board that worked hard to get that independent counsel, although some didn't want to have that on there. I'm glad ultimately we did, and I'm glad that we're where we are now.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. Clerk Kornicki, please.
Trustee Salela,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, item 10, public comments on non-agenda items. We have anyone signed up? Okay.
Oh,
Go ahead, please. Yeah, please sign in.
I almost didn't come, because it's really none of my business, because I don't sit up there anymore, but I want to make sure I got to say something. And take it to heart, don't take it to heart, blow me off, whatever you decide is perfectly fine by me. I totally understand that I'm not sitting in your shoes anymore. But I want to make sure I implore everybody to make sure when you're reconsidering any decision-making going forward, things like staff's opinions. They spend a lot of time on that. Critical. Hugely beneficial. At the same time, don't make the assumption that because that time, effort was put, that it's the best decision. It may very well be. If you disagree in future with those kinds of decisions, I recommend highly that you go talk to staff before you bring it up there and put it out to the airwaves. I think it is extremely helpful to all of you to do that ahead of time so that the public that observes us, and it's not just Village of Villa Park, I mean, it's contractors, it's people that you deal with every day, it's people that staff has to deal with as a village manager and police and fire and planning and zoning across the board that have to deal, that are looking at you going, is this place crazy or is this place sane? Is it someone we can deal with and cooperate with and we can trust going forward that it's not going to be flip-flopping back and forth? If you do your due diligence with staff directly and don't throw them under the bus when you're in here on that dais, perfect. I think that's the perfect job. If you can't do that sometimes, I realize sometimes you just got to go, hey, you know what? I totally disagree. That's an idiotic decision. And everybody up here that doesn't agree with me is also an idiot. And if I lose 6-1, then maybe I'm the idiot, and that's fine. And then I also wanted to ask that going forward, there's going to be arguments among all of you. When you make the decision, that argument's gone. Try your best to let that go, because it's extremely difficult for we human beings to not like where ideas come from when the perception of from where the idea came or the person who brought the idea to us is no longer appreciated. Try your hardest to stick to what's the best thing for my town. I don't care if it came from Nick, I don't care if it came from staff, I don't care if it came from the police chief, interim village manager, Patrick, Deepa, Jack, Christine, Hosanna, Dave, Kevin. You don't like them at the time, you don't like them anymore, they drive you crazy and you think they're idiots, fine. Doesn't mean they're not going to have a great idea. So don't let the past spoil a really good idea that's coming from a source that you don't care for anymore. And then, you know, and the last thing that made me think of that, I wasn't going to mention it, was that comment about getting an attorney. You had an attorney, and I trusted that attorney the whole time I was up here. I totally believed in her. I still believe in her to this day. You know, we all have our little biases that skew us. And had you not had somebody telling you to get an attorney to double check the prior attorney's recommendations, you wouldn't have saved that money and it would have cost us money. So that would have been a bad thing for the village, not a good thing. So I want to make sure that you take that to heart. I'm sorry for wasting 7 minutes of your time. It wasn't as bad as yours, though. So, although yours was more important. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Okay, anyone else? Okay, we'll go to item 11, Village Clerk's report.
I have no report.
No report, okay. Village Trustees report, we will start on my right, Trustee Kozar.
So I've been working with staff about our weekly reports, and I just saw an email here at 4:30 today. For those at home that don't know, every week the trustees get a substantial weekly report, and it's brought forth by the manager's office, and it basically goes over everything that's happened throughout the week. It's packed with information. It's a great thing to read and follow, and it gives the trustees a very good understanding of what's going on in the village from department to department to department, and something we can follow along and make reference to. Until now, that weekly report has been confidential, and I didn't think that it needed to be confidential. Certainly, if there's aspects of that report that should in fact be confidential and there's sound reasoning why it should be confidential, by all means that should go in a different type of memo directly only to the trustees for the limited period of time while that's confidential. But that email at 4:30 just said that our new attorney has reviewed the weekly reports and is of the opinion that they don't necessarily have to be confidential. And I appreciate that, and I'm glad of that, and I think that will lend to the whole concept of transparency, because I think a lot of people out in the community can benefit from reading those weekly reports and see the value that staff is bringing to the community, what staff is doing on a weekly basis. Very easy to sit at home and everything kind of gets done and you don't really realize how it happened, but there's a lot to it. And I think those weekly reports will really help to kind of expand the knowledge base of everybody in town and gets more eyes on it so that, everybody can kind of be part of it and see what's going on and come to the meetings, ask questions, and be a little bit more informed. So staff, thank you for reviewing that, and thank you for taking that confidentiality out of the weekly reports. As one extra step, I would recommend that we post that on the website for all to see. So thank you.
Okay. Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. I just wanted to take a moment and talk about the ongoing crisis happening right now in Ukraine. As of right now, Ukraine has over 500,000 refugees crossing over into borders like Poland, Romania, and such. Russia has wrongfully invaded Ukraine, not only causing all those refugees to flee, but men ages 18 to 60 are now told that they have to stay behind and fight. And I think it's important that we all recognize that, what it means when we are under attack and fighting for our freedom. Russia has already caused civilian casualties using weapons that should only be used against militaries. Women and children have died. And Russia has already put their nuclear forces on standby. It's completely uncalled for. And right now, Ukraine, all of Ukraine, needs our support more than ever. Now, I wish I had the answers to tell you what could we do as U.S. citizens. And I don't have the answers for you. I too am watching television, watching this happen every day, hoping that the capital does not fall, that they can prevail. We are seeing heroes coming out of this, standing up for their freedoms, dying for their freedoms. Ukraine needs our support. And if we don't know what we can do, there is one thing that we can, and it's show our support. Email me, email the rest of these board members, contact your state, your federal representatives, and let them know that you do not support these actions in Ukraine, and that we will do anything that we can to support them. It's unimaginable what is happening right now. And sometimes we might need to pick up a history book and look really closely, not too far along, of how similar this is to some of this stuff that has happened in the past, particularly World War II, when the Nazi Party took over. Same sort of thing is happening right now, right here. Ukraine needs our support. So I ask all of you, please, if you can, support Ukraine. Show your colors of blue and gold, their national flag. Their flower is a sunflower. Put those out. Get on social media. Express how you feel about this. Let everybody know about this. Together as a whole, we will overcome this. Ukraine can overcome this, but they need our support. So I ask, do all you can. If that's anything, show your support on social media or express how you feel. That's all I have. Thoughts and prayers with Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Solella.
No report this evening.
Okay. Trustee Kumar.
I will piggyback a little off of Kevin's sentiment with regards to Ukraine. My heart goes out to any of the families that we have who may have friends and family either in Ukraine or in Russia. only because they are on the ground there and every day of their life is in flux due to the political machinations of some individuals. And the consequences of all this oftentimes is going to fall on everyday people, people like you and me. And so my heart is reaching out to all of them. And there's a great sadness with the situation. I would like to say I'd like to congratulate and kudos to the Environmental Concerns Committee. I'm so proud of our town's great efforts to make our town a greener place and a more bike-friendly place. Thank you to everyone who's on that committee. On a more local front, I do have a concern for Villa Park at this point. We had someone make some comments of getting together to kind of, putting past issues behind us, to come together and possibly have a meeting to decide on the process of bringing in a new manager and a good manager to Villa Park as soon as possible. I do know we have employed a very reputable company to work on that front. However, I would like to see there be a special meeting which involves the board and any of the public who want to be involved in deciding upon a process of coming up with a new manager and the different aspects of that, or what different things they'd like to see in a new manager spelled out, so that it gives us some headway in the interview process when we actually get some various input onto who is trying for this position.
Okay. Yeah, we'll look into that.
And that's about it for today.
Okay. All right, Trustee Corkery.
No report this week.
Okay. Trustee Murphy.
Yes, I'm just going to provide a little update on our friends and neighbors at, I believe it's Community Congregational Church on the corner of Cornell and Highland. They had their last church service as a congregation there yesterday. It was very heartfelt. It was wonderful, and many of them shared significant memories of baptisms and weddings, and back when Reverend Stifler was there. So they had a wonderful opportunity to get together, share stories, and kind of put a closure on their chapter at that location and start to look forward to relocating. So the information that I have says that they will be renting and sharing a space with Calvary United Methodist Church, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump down the road on the corner of Highland and Summit. They are also, as a congregation, very pleased to hopefully see that their church building and the property are under contract with a local congregation. And they were hoping, if everything went well, the sale would close on February 28th. So we wish them the best as they move forward as a congregation, and they go with our blessing. And I guess we'll be looking forward to seeing the new congregation and what that's all about very soon when they move into the building. It sounds like that church will remain in place. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Village President's Report. I don't have a whole lot today. Catalyst Partners, the developer of the old AK mulch, they had a presentation last Thursday, the 24th, at the Community Rec Building, and I was there for a little bit, and they had a few people coming through. They said they had a real nice steady stream coming in, a lot of positive comments, few concerns as usual, but I think they've addressed those, and so hopefully that RDA's the development agreement's going, and we'll get that going pretty soon and get that started. Next Saturday, or this coming Saturday, March 5th, will be Coffee with the Board, 9 o'clock here. If anyone wants to come and, bring their comments, feel free. 9 o'clock here, we have coffee and donuts, and it's usually pretty decent. We've gotten some good comments lately, so Saturday, March 5th at 9 o'clock up here. And we will go to the village manager's report.
Nothing to report.
No? Okay. We've got executive session on the agenda, but I think that's just there as a placeholder. Do we need to vote on that? Or
No.
Just go pass it, okay. Seeing as we have nothing to discuss, we will just go on. Our next meeting will be scheduled for Monday, March 14th, 2 weeks from tonight at 7 o'clock. So hopefully everyone has a good week. We have a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Corkery, we have a second. Trustee Kumar, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Everyone have a great week and enjoy the spring weather that's here.